Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button and keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy. All right, folks, here we have after market close on Friday, August 11th. We're going to take a look at Canopy Growth today. So first thing that stands out is this intense downtrend from, there's a gap here that stretches up to about 270 or so, and you would enter that gap around 259. But after that, just this like really, really intense downtrend. So I'm going to put that in. It appears to have recently broken the downtrend, which is what makes it kind of interesting. But as we know, they can always re-enter those. So I'll put this in here, yellow, and I also want to identify this gap, because if it comes up to fill this, that is quite a solid percentage gain upward from where it finds itself now. So that's about where it enters and about where it exits that gap, 258 to 270. So if it comes up to fill that, could be interesting, obviously. We're just a few days outside of this downtrend resistance. Now we do see it tried to make this movement on the 13th of July with a pretty good uptick of 15%, but the following day it drew down 40%, right back underneath that downtrend resistance. So now it's trying to work itself out of it sideways, and I'm interested to see if it can get anything going there. Now let's see what support and resistance levels we might be able to gather from recent price action. It seems pretty apparent this is a pretty critical level, this 43-cent level. Tried to build a floor, resistance, shot through it, came down. It's where it tried to build a floor again, pushed off of it, fell through it again, resistance. It's where it caught resistance, and now it's trying to flip it to support again. And today, with a minus 6.5% day, fell under it again. So is this signifying a new downtrend or even a steeper drop that's going to put it under this downtrend resistance? I mean, if it dips back down under this downtrend resistance again, that's a really significant drop because it's so steep. So it would really have to, I mean, in the coming days, if by 8:15 it was back under here, it would be like pennies. So, I don't know that it's going to do that, but I'm really interested in this level, it today potentially flipping it to resistance again, or can it pick it back up on Monday and sort of buck that trend? That's interesting as well. 40 cents here, pretty apparent off of this big candle, the wick here, some wrestling here, resistance to support, push off here, wick dip here. So that seems like a pretty critical level. And then if we zoom in even further, we're flipping support to resistance a few times here at 39. I know this gets kind of silly because these are just pennies apart, but we'll zoom into the 10-minute, like an intraday kind of time frame in a moment, and it might sort of make sense why putting those in. I'm not putting them in because they're a penny apart. I'm putting them in because that appears to be where the level is to me. Another one here, 42, and not there. Okay, here, 46. Sort of curious to see if there's anything from that 43 to 46, because while that's just 3 cents, it's a pretty solid percentage gain. Yeah, I don't really see a lot in between those levels, so I don't know if there's just some run room there, maybe from 43 to 46 or not, but we'll have to see. So if we zoom into the 10, you can sort of see why these levels, even though they seem, so just penny apart or so, that they actually can play a role on the intraday chart. So that's what I see on this chart, support and resistance levels, feel free to pause the video here if you want to take another look at those or a closer look. We're going to flip over to Thinkorswim platform. So here we have Canopy Growth on the 1 hour. The reason for that is the way that this study is set up in Thinkorswim. If I go on any larger time frame, it gets too flat to really see. So this is what we have to work with. But in any case, on the 1 hour, we see it's pushing the bottom bound of the channel at the moment. It peaked itself through or shot itself through the bottom bound of the channel periodically here earlier today, and now is potentially trying to draw back toward the center line, but it's catching some resistance here, sort of similar to what it did here, right? Try to make some motion back toward the center line, which is that bright blue line, but got caught by the red downtrend resistance. Interesting here on the TTM squeeze, you see it triggered for several hours, and then when it fired, it did give a pretty good move. So it fired, and it fired into sideways action overnight, and then into today. That's when the big move came. That's when this 1 hour candle here, really, put in your, say, 42 cents all the way down to 39 cents. So again, they're pennies, but percentage-wise, they are pretty significant. So kind of herky-jerky here on the bearish momentum, picking up, and then this looks, relatively nice and symmetrical, but then you have this strong resurgence in momentum, and then a die-off, and then into close today, or at close today, strong pickup in bearish momentum. So interesting to see how the week kicks off next week. RSI obviously low at this point. What do we have this at? Around, I don't know why it's not telling me what this is. Well, it's I don't know. It's below 30 here, but it's for some reason not wanting to tell me. So we'll see sort of if it can draw back toward that center line or reverse that momentum at all. But to me, these are the levels that kind of read and make the most sense. Obviously, if it's able to, like I said, to buck that previous downtrend resistance, even if it moves out of it sideways and then kind of wrestles in these levels for a while, could make a difference, could give it some potential motion in the coming weeks ahead. But we'll have to see. If you want me to check back on it after we give it a few days or weeks, I'd be happy to. Leave a comment below. I don't really see anything forming trend line wise upward yet. Potentially even another sort of downtrend coming in here. We could post that just in case that takes shape. I would maybe put it here and just say that's potentially this candle, was an attempted breakthrough, but that it reconfirmed it here. So, that might not be nothing, to be honest, because it's sort of hit its head against that 3 or 4 times at this point. So that might be the new downtrend support, out of the old one, which was super steep, and into the new one, which is slightly less steep. But we'll have to see if it can get any sort of stable footing and make any movements from there. All right, folks, I hope you had a good trading week and that you enjoy your weekend. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.